The motherfucking news.
The news it is. So, hey, Borderlands 3, which, I mean, we'll talk about that news, but the unveil of Borderlands 3. You want to talk about the unveil, or you want to talk about the news about the microtransactions first?
Well, this is just general Borderlands 3 stuff.
Okay.
And this is just the resource I had, one of the resources I had for it.
Maybe you all didn't notice it, maybe y'all did. The way my fucking brain works is, differently. I notice things that most, people probably won't, but the fucking movement, the animation, it's going to sound weird to say, but it seemed more tactical. Does that make sense?
Let's pull up some actual footage.
The first person footage, it seemed stiffer, like the weapons had more weight, and the way they conducted themselves was a lot more methodical. And I was like, because usually you play Borderlands, you expect kind of like goofiness and stuff like that. Everything feels kind of like a slightly goofy, right?
Yeah.
But it seemed like there was a little bit more. I just noticed things, and I was like, wow, I kind of like that. That's smooth. Yeah, see, look at that. Like,
yeah.
And then my brain works
and...
differently. Okay, so it's like I look at that, I'm like, okay, it's like some tactical coolness in there. I'm like, okay, all right, I like that. That's kind of fucking cool. Just little slight little nod there, and I was like, all right,
yeah,
just small, minute changes. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'm just all about animation or something, but just small, minute changes and stuff like that. Plus the world kind of still fits in that same vein, veininess of what it is. But just the animation alone, like with the weapon reloads and stuff like that, and just the way he's moving with that slight bob. I don't know. Just small shit I notice. Seemed a little bit more. I don't know how to put it. I don't want to put my thumb on it. But I liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, and also like some of the stuff they introduced promotes gameplay more like that. Like you can actually melee the barrels now to make them launch forward, and then there's also traps. Like earlier it showed using one of the traps or whatever and stuff like that. And then with some of the special abilities of the weapons, they kind of work in tandem with teammates, things that they do.
Combat seemed more methodical too. It was just a lot more methodical ways of doing things. Like they slowed things down as opposed to being like high speed all the time. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like they slowed things down. Was the first thing I noticed. I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah. And you could probably play both ways if you really wanted to, but like when I was watching some of the people play when it was actual streamers playing, it was much more like you can play both ways.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely high speed. It seemed like there was a lot more control, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Not necessarily that it's slower, or just seemed more controlled. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Maybe it's just, it's Borderlands 3 and it's, Guccified or whatever and everything else and it's new and whatever. It could just be me and I could have been, I don't know, fucking whatever, but it just seemed, I don't know how to put my fucking finger on it. It just seems different.
Maybe it's the pacing of like the actions, like you just said, like the reload wasn't just like it was a like deliberate action.
Yeah, everything seemed deliberate.
Yeah, so, and like when you switch fire modes, he actually reaches up and flips a selector switch.
As opposed to being very eccentric. Like you pull out a weapon that like fucking flips, fucking gunslinger style and shit. Like in Borderlands 2 and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
All that. But it seems like it's a lot more ingrained in, I don't know, control. Now that could change, obviously, very, very quickly.
Yeah.
But from what I saw, I was like, okay, all right. I kind of like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's going to be fucking awesome. Like United here is playing through Borderlands 2 for the first time. That's a game that came out back in like 2012, right? And he's like, dude, this game's awesome. I'm like, dude, that game came out in 2012 and you're liking it now.
I remember playing Borderlands. Yeah, I remember playing Borderlands 1 the first night we got it. Knew nothing about it, just said it was just a game, and we got it for Xbox 360, and then we binged it. Like, we liked it so much, I literally binged it and hit like level 50 in 2 days, and just binged it. Did not sleep at all.
Yeah, it's
like
good.
we didn't, and I was like, holy fuck, this is a sleeper hit.
Yeah, that's when I got it too. I was like, I think somebody was like, hey, what game do you want for your birthday? And I was like, that game. And then I was like, this game's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then two really set the mark, man. They just went over the top with it, which was good. It was good.
It was also a lot harder to figure out stuff about games back then.
Yeah, I don't remember as much about Borderlands 2, which is why I probably need to play it again. Borderlands 1 is going to be forever ingrained in my memory with TK Baja and everything else. Like, it's going to be forever in there because that was my first experience. 2 did not smack me as much, which is why I'm like trying to figure out why. So I think I'm going to play through 2 again.
2's my favorite, and it's most people's favorite, which is interesting.
It's definitely the better game. I mean, I'm not going to lie that. It's definitely the better game, quality, content, and, you know, everything else wise. But I for some reason, I don't remember 2 as much as I remember 1. Maybe because it was the sequel. So.
That came out. No, not 2012. My bad. It came out before 2000. Way before 2012. My fucking bad.
No, I was still,
2 did.
Let's see.
Yeah, 2 came out.
2 came out
2012. 1 was.
2 came out when I was still in. Let's see.
Yeah, it was about 2012 for 2. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, because I remember when I got it, because it was midnight at GameStop, and it was No, it was well before 2012, dude. Well before 2012.
No, 1 came out like a long time ago.
Long time ago.
2 was about 2012 because I remember going to go get it and I was in when it came out.
I remember it was before 2012 because I wasn't with that X. I was with a different X when Borderlands 2 came out. That's how I remember. Sorry.
Yeah. Who was I with when I was playing?
I just remember 2012 because I came back from fucking net, went to fucking Norway, came back from Norway. That was when I was in northern Michigan. So it was definitely not 2012. It was well before 2012.
First one's 2009. Second one's 2012. Crystal's saying. Okay.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. All right. But as far as like mechanical changes,
it was before Norway. Yep, it was definitely before Norway then. All right, cool. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I'm reminiscing.
You're good. Yeah. Back then, it was harder. It was harder to know things about games because you either sat in fucking EB Games, which is GameStop, and then watched the TV for their special, or you had cable and can actually watch, like, what was it, like V4 TV or something like. I forgot what it. G4 TV.
G4 TV. And you had fucking goddamn Adam Sessler and motherfucking what the hell was her name? I just remember I had thoughts for a while. I don't know what the fuck her name was. They changed fucking female hosts all the time in that show. It was what the hell was it called? I don't remember. Yeah, but that was like the only way, like, or like you buy a magazine, like pay money for a magazine to find out stuff about games. Now it's just like you can go on the internet, Twitch, whatever, and go find out about a game, or go to a podcast like Talking Gun, and you know, and figure out or whatever, you know, like you can find out so much more. And now devs actually do like gameplay reveals and stuff like this. And I think it's spoiled, man. Yeah. Randy Pitchford actually mentioned during the briefing things like, this is the most we've ever shown of one of our games ever before it's come out. And that's what made me think about that. Is like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, they didn't. Used to be you just fucking, like, you had ads and then it was all in paid material, and I never saw that stuff because I didn't buy that shit. So Tips and Tricks magazine. I had a Tips and Tricks magazine subscription. That's how I got my news. You know, EGM and fucking all that. You know, just insane. Actually, if you want to talk about gaming news in general, where things have come and gone. Yeah. You know, before streaming. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, shit. I mean, there have been people that have been streaming for at least like 8 years now or something, or even longer. But when you look at like footage back from when it first started, when it was just in TV and like what they had to do to stream and stuff like that, it was the technology was
crazy. Like, no, I had to get all these fucking adapters and shit just to capture it and all this crazy stuff. And yeah.
Times they are a changing.
But as far as footnotes, huge mechanical differences for 3 versus 2.
I just love the look of it, man. I don't know. Something about it is screaming at me. And it's like I'm actually getting amped up for this shit. Like before, I was like, "Oh, it's Borderlands 3. Okay, I'll like it. Whatever." And then I'm watching. I'm like, "Holy fuck, I'm getting amped."
Yeah, that doesn't happen with a lot of games. So how like there was the brands for every weapon and stuff like that, or there's a brands for all the guns, and they all do different things.
Mm-hmm.
So now the to keep up, because this is after the events of 2, the brands have stepped it up. So a lot of weapons will have multiple. I have that premium Snapchat. Woo! A lot of the brands have stepped up their game. So a lot of them will have secondary fire modes. Now her Hyperion, for one, now has shields on all their stuff, which is what you're seeing on this shotgun. It has a shield that pops out, which is very much like Gibraltar's thing from fucking Apex Legends, which isn't a bad thing if that's where they got their inspiration. That's not bad at all.
Instance loot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Instance
loot. Yeah. So what we mean by instance loot is like, say you got a friend that joins, they get a separate loot table even though it's the same stuff. Like, so you can't take from them, which was a big thing back in, when you play Borderlands, is like, who's getting that, right? Like, who's going to get that? Who's going to pick that up? And you always got the one guy that just fucking picks up everything anyway, so it turns into a race to pick up shit. And it's just like, well, fucking don't slow me down then. I'm like, well, I don't want to fucking play with you. Whatever, So there's no longer that. Yeah, and scaling.
Like that.
Scaling, they're going to implement scaling where they show in a moment here, actually in this next area, they have somebody at level 25 join. The character you guys are seeing play right now is level 5, and all their loot and enemies are at level 25 for them. The same, the same guns, just at 25, and the same enemies at 25. And these guys being 6 and loot being 5 for this character, which is cool. It's cool that, so you can just hop in with your buddies. And it's not like you're going to be speed leveling them or wrecking everything too much when you play with them. So that's good. It's a good thing to see here moving forward. Also, it seems that they got rid of your super, like your super ult thing that you use, like throwing your turret or whatever.
Did you see it?
Well, that's now it's just 2 moves that you do. You eventually have 2 moves that you unlock is now the thing. If I remember correctly, you have 2 skills.
Right.
So one of those was that slam that she did. So it's more of like a move that you do once versus something that keeps running. And some of those moves will be very much like it, where like the singularity thing comes up and holds the person in the air, like Maya from 2. Yeah, so stuff like that, which is cool. So like the switch fire modes is awesome. Like one of them, the first pistol they showed when they talked about the switch fire modes was it normally fires normal shots, and then when you switch it, it fires rockets from the same ammo, So like that's cool. You're gonna have differences. Like Molly 1 had a submachine gun that they showed later that its secondary fire mode would lock onto a target, and then you could just shoot bullets anywhere, and they would curve into they were homing bullets.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is fucking cool. I'm excited for all that, man. How that's going to change things, and like how maybe RNG will work with that kind of stuff. And then some weapons have interesting abilities on them as a base, where like if you get a crit shot, it ricochets a bullet to the nearest enemy and stuff like that. And they're not even they're not even the legendaries, which is cool. Cool. Oh, and to make this game even more relevant in today's day and age, the big bad guys are streamers. Like no shit streamers. So like they're sitting there talking about their viewers and like, you're my favorite follower and stuff like that, and like doing their streams, and there's a lot of the one of the bosses they show is a streamer as well, and he's all like where you're going to go hit the guy's the mouthpiece or whatever. He's a streamer. So that's gonna be interesting.
How does that work? They just put him in the fucking game or what?
Well, not like real streamers. They're like the bad guys are streamers.
Okay.
In this world, so they stream like random shit.
Nice.
And there was a comment by Randy Pitchford about it that was like, like there's you guys know that one streamer that's like an asshole and kind of douchey.
I'm about the douchey part.
Well, these guys are like cringe or whatever.
Oh,
Like, I don't like you.
I want to be an edge lord and be a piece of
Yeah,
shit.
and
Got it.
I'm like I'm super popular and I know it and that kind of thing. Like so.
I want to get monkey stomped in the face. Got it.
Yeah.
That face that says punch me. I understand.
So it definitely brings it into today's thing. Oh, and the heroes from the other Borderlands come and help you fight. So they fight with you in parts of the game, which is cool. So they do stuff, and you actually have conversations with them now, versus before it was not that way. It was just like you just walked up to them and they said something, and then you moved on your way. And like, yeah, your character would say stuff, but it wasn't ever in a conversation. Now you have conversations, which is cool.
Combos.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be awesome. I'm stoked. I am super stoked for this. Yeah. And they can help you. Yeah, and NPCs can get you up. Yeah, as well, which is nice. It's very nice. And there's quite a few other little tiny details that are newer things to this game. But some of the ones that are important is that there won't be any microtransactions other than cosmetic stuff. Now,
I mean, they did that in 2, kind of.
yeah, and all the other Borderlands, those were, well, they added more stuff to 1, but like 2 had like a bunch of stuff for cosmetics. But it was never ever anything that people were like angry at Borderlands for. And they kind of did that a long time ago. You know, they were just like, nah, it's just cosmetic pack shit. You know, like you may not buy it, you may buy it, whatever. But you can also get a lot of cosmetic stuff without buying anything anyway. They're just specific outfits. So,
As long as they keep that balance.
yeah. Yeah, as long as they keep that balance. Agreed. Able to buy skins, heads, and auxiliary items and stuff. Yeah, like, so, like, apparently you're going to have, like, trinkets on weapons and stuff like that, and which is cool.
I'm just excited. I mean, like I said, it's been a long time, so I've actually been excited. Like, I want to fucking see this game come out, and I've always kind of had a soft spot in my fucking brain, heart, whatever, for this ever since I played Diablo 1 back in the day on dial-up BattleNet, you know.
Yeah.
And then D2, and then of course they started expanding into like Destiny being all that stuff, following the same kind of formula, and looter shooter is now a common thing, and all that stuff. So I mean, games like that have been around for a while, and they're always going to be cool like that. So I'm always going to hold that little special place.
Yeah.
So.
Whoop. My bad. Yeah, it's I mean, it fills its niche of what it is very well, and that will be awesome to delve back into. Now there are going to be XP boosters that you can buy, or and also in some of the editions you can get, which doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal, but I guess if you want, like, I guess it kind of makes sense because you have multiple characters. If you want to run an XP boost on your second character because you're going through all the content you've already beaten, then you just pop an XP boost thing. But why not just make a like insta level up thing?
I don't know how I like. Yeah. I don't think I've ever really liked XP boosters.
Yeah, I don't really like it either.
Any game.
That's why, like with Days Gone, for the pre-order, I would have gotten a couple stuff early as far as upgrades in the game. Like I would have gotten NOS off the bat and stuff like that, and I'm like, no. I want to play the game vanilla.
I don't like XP boosters because it throws your entire pacing. The game is designed a certain way for pacing, and when you have to, it doesn't set well with me.
Yeah. It's almost like, why is that? Because you didn't design that pacing well enough that it makes sense the way it plays out, what level you would be because of just normally playing the game, or I'm tripping over my words. I know that the reason is for people that don't have a lot of time to play and want a little boost, so that they can get higher level and do more damage and stuff like that, and it'll be a little bit easier. But I mean, I think this game already has difficulty levels, so just play on fucking easy. You know.
I mean, I guess in the end, here's hoping they do it right. I fucking can't stand a game that encourages shit like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to do it, you got to do it. I just really hope that it doesn't ruin the core integrity of the experience where it tries to influence it. That's, you know, everybody's
like
concern.
smack it, like keep pushing it in your face to buy XP boosters and shit. Yeah. that would be a great way to shoot yourself in the dick as far as the game's concerned. Yeah.
They've got my attention. Just please don't rip the guts out of it once you have my attention.
Yeah. Oh, they're about to show off guns with legs right now. So TDOR's thing is they turn into stuff. So this is a MIRV one when you throw it. Because it used to be when you reload, you'd throw it and it would explode. So this one turns into a MIRV when you throw it. There's another TDOR here that when you throw it, it turns into a little walking turret and shoots the rest of the mag and then blows up, which is fucking cool. Fucking cool, man. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fun. Oh, and there's a way for you to link your Shift account with your Twitch account, and there's going to be a plugin, and there it is in chat. You can link that, and I'll put it in the description below the video as well if you guys want to do that. So when you're watching streamers, if they have the extension on their screen, when there's a chance whenever they open a loot crate that somebody watching will get that loot crate as well in game.
Nice.
So like for your game, which is cool. And my shit just fucking, this is the second time today it's done that.
Them hotkeys, brah.
Yeah. Asshole fucking. Yeah. It's cool. Cool. I'm really stoked for it. Now this is going to be on Epic and it's got an exclusive launch on Epic, I think, for PC.
All right.
Yeah, which I don't mind. We're gonna get into a little bit more of that later with one of the topics we have, but
I think we've done that to death, though.
Yeah. Well, this is more of a. It came up with some interesting perspectives because it's going to be cheaper on Epic than on Steam. It's gonna be like $40 on Steam, or no, $40 on Epic and like $60 on Steam. So like, there's the whole like Steam charges more money to the developer, like part of the package, right, to sell on Steam. Yeah, but like Epic is paying people instead to have exclusives and then having a lower price. So like, you're either paying for the part that Steam pays, or so like it's not necessarily that the devs are getting less money. They're actually getting.
Shoots that whole games are more expensive to create and produce and argument, doesn't it? Yeah.
I mean, you know, if a game like we've talked about before on TG, if a game came to me and they're like, "Look, our game is legit worth $80 instead of $60," and they explained to me why, like an adult,
let me rephrase. They are obviously more expensive to produce because of the amount of animation and time and dedication and everything else. But to distribute, it is definitely not to distribute.
Yeah. I mean, shit, they're actually moving more away from physical copies, and it's just cheaper to push out a digital.
Like the majority of the market is digital at this point.
Yeah.
So, hey.
Yeah.